Ladies and gentlemen, forget Game of Thrones, because UEFA just gave us the most violent emotional roller coaster of 2025, and it was called Inter Milan versus Barcelona. This wasn't football, this was opera. This was theater. This was 13 goals, 200 plot twists, 2 comebacks, and 1 stadium screaming like a Marvel finale. If you missed it, don't worry, we watched it for you. And then cried, and then laughed, and then cried again. Welcome to the Champions League semi-final, where defense goes to die and trauma is guaranteed. 1. First leg recap. 3-3 and 3 brain cells lost. Barcelona hosted Inter and immediately did what they do best: fall behind 2-0 faster than you can say defensive awareness. Marcus Thuram scored in the first minute. That's not football, that's daylight robbery. Inter was out there making Barca look like mannequins in a training drill. But then Barca woke up, because apparently conceding goals is their pre-workout. Yamal, Ferran Torres and Rafinha all chipped in. And somewhere in the middle Dumfries said, "Oh, you thought I was done," and scored again. That match was like watching a tennis rally. Back and forth, and nobody knew the score until someone passed out from stress. Barca's defense in the first leg was so high up the pitch, it needed an oxygen mask. Every time Inter ran a counterattack, you could hear Hansi Flick exhale through gritted teeth like a tired gym instructor watching amateurs attempt Zumba. The first leg ended 3-3, which for context is the same number of tactical breakdowns Barcelona had before halftime. And let's talk about Denzel Dumfries. This man was playing like he found cheat codes: a goal, an assist, and a performance that made Dutch fans Google, "Is this our new Sneijder?" Meanwhile, Barca's defenders were treating him like a suggestion, not a threat. It was the kind of night where even the VAR crew needed a breather after every highlight reel moment. 2. Second leg. This is not a drill. San Siro. May 6th. Inter shows up with the audacity of a team that's tired of history books ignoring them. Lautaro Martinez, playing with 1 hamstring and 0 fear, scores. Then another, 2-0. Again. It's 5-3 on aggregate, and Barca fans are Googling how to fake optimism. But wait, plot twist. Barcelona, once again, activates comeback mode. They score not 1, not 2, but 3 goals. By the 87th minute, they're actually leading. Camp Nou Twitter is popping champagne. Inter fans are writing goodbye letters. And then, Francesco Acerbi, yes, 37 years young, decides he's not retiring without making someone cry, and smashes in the equalizer in the 93rd minute. Acerbi scoring that late is like your grandpa showing up to a breakdancing contest and winning. And Frattesi, he pulls up in extra time like a wedding crasher who also happens to be the groom, just casually scoring the winner in the 99th minute. San Siro erupted. People were hugging strangers. Children became adults. Adults became emotional wrecks. And Inter booked their ticket to Munich. And let's not forget, Jan Sommer, Inter's goalkeeper turned one-man emergency response unit. The man had hands like Spider-Man and reflexes like he drank 3 espressos before kickoff. Every time Yamal lined up a shot, Sommer appeared out of nowhere like, "Not today, teenager." By the end, Barcelona had the XG, the possession, the drama, but Inter had the scoreboard. And that's the only stat that matters when UEFA's writing the checks. 3. Barcelona. Masterclass in hope, diploma in pain. Barcelona fans experienced all 5 stages of grief within 45 minutes. Denial. We're still in this. Anger. Why are we playing a high line? Bargaining. Please, just park the bus. Depression. We had it. Acceptance. Let's beat Madrid on Sunday. Yamal. Unreal. He played like a man trying to get adopted by Lionel Messi. But unfortunately, Barcelona's defense played like a group of holograms. Barcelona's strategy was clear: score goals and pray. Nobody notices the backline is made of wet tissue. Rafinha had 20 goal involvements this season, which is amazing. If only he could also clone himself into a full defensive unit. Eric Garcia blamed the referee, but let's be honest, even VAR got tired watching this match and clocked out. Hansi Flick gave post-match interviews like a man who just watched his favorite soap opera character die for the 3rd time this season. And the real kicker, they actually believed. After 87 minutes of pure football redemption, they thought the script had changed. But Barcelona's Champions League semi-final scripts are written in invisible ink and tears. Every time they build hope, the universe pulls out a shovel and digs a fresh emotional hole. It's not just a defeat, it's a tradition. They don't exit the tournament, they dramatize their exit like a telenovela finale. 4. Inter Milan. Chaos. But make it genius. Inter meanwhile made chaos look tactical. Simone Inzaghi was playing 4D chess while everyone else was stuck on Wordle. Dumfries? Unreal. Lautaro? Dragged one leg and a dream into that stadium. Acerbi? The oldest man on the pitch, just gave them immortality. And Frattesi? He's basically their emergency hero at this point. Forget super sub. He's a super storyline. Dumfries was everywhere. On the wing, in the box, inside Barca's nightmares. Frattesi has now scored in 2 of the biggest matches in Inter's season. The man treats high-pressure football like a Sunday jog. Inzaghi's post-match praise of Lamine Yamal being a once-in-50-years talent was basically his way of saying, "Thank God we survived this child." The San Siro atmosphere? Unholy. That crowd summoned spirits. You could feel Andrea Pirlo's beard tingling from across Italy. And let's give flowers to Inzaghi, because while other managers are busy overthinking formations, he's out here coaching like a mob boss with a master plan. Injuries? No problem. Momentum swings? He eats those for breakfast. His substitutions hit harder than plot twists in a K-drama. It's like he told his players, lose the lead if you must, but make sure the comeback is legendary. And they delivered, with extra Parmesan on top. 5. The neutral fan experience. Oxygen required. If you were watching as a neutral, congratulations, you survived the Champions League's version of a cardiac stress test. This wasn't a football match. This was 13 goals, a tifo that could win awards, and more twists than a telenovela. Some fans said, football needed that tie. No. Football barely survived that tie. One neutral said it was glorious, unfiltered madness, and yes, that's also how Inter fans described their group therapy session afterward. Lamine Yamal was so good that Real Madrid fans started whispering, "Do we need him?" while Sommer had so many saves he qualified for medical school. Neutrals were torn. On one hand, heartbreak for Barca. On the other, Inter just recreated Gladiator live on grass. And if you were watching without picking a side, you probably picked up a temporary one midway, then switched again 5 minutes later. It was emotional whiplash. 1 minute you're cheering for Yamal's brilliance. The next you're screaming, "Go on Frattesi," like you're an honorary Italian. By the end, nobody knew who they supported, just that their soul had aged 10 years and they needed a nap, a therapist, or both. 6. What's next? Inter's Munich mission and Barca's bounce back. Inter now heads to Munich for the Champions League final. They'll face either Arsenal or PSG. So basically they're upgrading from chaos to complete psychological warfare. Barcelona meanwhile have to face Real Madrid this weekend in El Clasico, and try to pretend this didn't just happen. Good luck selling that level of emotional recovery in 3 business days. Inter's final appearance is their second in 3 years. Somewhere, Jose Mourinho is smiling and whispering, 2009 was just the prequel. If Inter wins the UCL, expect a statue of Acerbi lifting Frattesi in Milan by next Tuesday. And Barca. Their Champions League record in Italy now reads like a haunted house review. Enter at your own risk. You may never leave with dignity. But hey, they still lead La Liga. Because nothing says moral victory like domestic dominance after international collapse. And let's not forget the real winners here. Whoever gets to play Inter in the final. Because trying to scout this team is like studying a Quentin Tarantino script. Everyone's involved, the plot makes no sense until the end, and someone unexpected always delivers the finishing blow. Meanwhile, Barcelona heads into El Clasico like someone nursing heartbreak while pretending everything's fine. Spoiler alert, it's not fine. Closing thoughts. Football. Therapy. Same thing. So what did we learn? Never underestimate Inter's pensioners, never trust Barca's lead, and always keep oxygen nearby when watching the Champions League. Was this the greatest semi-final of all time? Possibly. Was it normal? Absolutely not. But that's why we love this game. Where legends are born, children destroy grown men, and defense is optional. Drop your thoughts below. Who impressed you most? Who broke your heart? And who's winning it all in Munich? Smash the like button. Hit subscribe, and remember, football is pain. But at least it's entertaining. See you in the final, folks. Bring popcorn. and maybe a defibrillator.